This clip is going viral this week because Bernie Sanders was on Fox News and sat down with Bret Baier and basically admitted he has no principles and that he's better than you. That's literally what he says. As always, guys, please like the video and subscribe to this channel so that I can finally afford a hair transplant. Without further ado, here we go.
You know, Alyssa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, she said you shouldn't be using oligarch. It's over people's head. You've gotten criticized from other people. Free Beacon says Bernie Sanders spent $221,000 on private jets fighting the oligarchy tour, paid for by friends of Bernie Sanders. That you've spent millions of dollars in campaign funds on private jet travel over the years. How do you push back on both of those things?
When's the last time you saw Donald Trump during a campaign mode at National Airport?
No. It doesn't. But he's also not fighting the oligarchy.
No. You run a campaign and you do 3 or 4 or 5 rallies in a week. The only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
And
you think that I would sit in a United Airlines line? That is for peasants, guys. And that's also for his constituents who believe that he's an environmentalist. They get to go on the commercial flights. In fact, probably shouldn't fly at all, as the Green New Deal says. But Bernie Sanders and AOC, as they go around speaking to 30,000 people and collecting checks from those attendances, they can fly private. Totally fine. It's good. He is not an environmentalist. Bernie Sanders does not care about his constituents. He only cares about himself. And the big irony of this interview is that this is at the conclusion of his Fight Oligarchy tour. An oligarchy, at its core, what it is it's a small group of people who control basically the country that they're in. They're above everyone else in terms of power and in terms of wealth. And I cannot think of a better way to describe Bernie Sanders. And therein lies the problem for Democrats right now. Because right now, what they've started to build up for 2028 is this kind of new coalition and new idea. And it's a powerful one, by the way. It's something I am actually worried about. But this is the problem that they have. Their whole shtick is that boomers are evil, that anyone richer than you is evil, and that we should tax them into oblivion. It's a new kind of class warfare populism that the left is trying to sell right now. And historically, and by the way, it requires dead CEOs around the country, and it requires ruining the economy. If that's what it takes, that's okay. That's literally what they believe. And it's actually an idea that, historically speaking, does very well politically. It's not good for the country. It's never good for the country. It plummets it into chaos. Again, the economy suffers, but it's really good if you want to win elections. That's why I'm very cognizant of it. That's why I think AOC is going to win the Democrat primary. I really do. Bernie Sanders isn't running. A lot of people are talking about Bernie Sanders running. He's not. He's trying to take the credit for essentially propping AOC up. That's the only thing he can do at this point because he's too old to run. People are kind of sick of Joe Biden. I have a feeling at the end of this term, even though people love Donald Trump, I think they will see he's too old. I mean, he can't run again regardless, but we don't really need politicians of that age in the first place. And I think Bernie Sanders understands that. So the best thing that he could do is throw his power and take the credit behind someone else. And I think that's got to be AOC. It's an obvious thing from what he's doing, going around the country with her. The problem is this movement from Democrats is being run by the very people that profess to hate them. Like Bernie Sanders is the oligarchy. That's what I'm saying. He is the rich guy. When Bernie Sanders released his tax return, when he was running for president back in 2016, it showed that he made more than $1 million that year. That is wealthy. That is rich. Is he a billionaire? No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you're making $1 million a year, you're rich. And by the way, I have no problem with it, but they do. That's their whole shtick. So that populist eat the rich movement on the left is a complete fraud because it is run by the rich. It's led by politicians who have made all their wealth through insider trading. It's led by celebrities who make more money than any of us and do horrible, horrible things. Now, this is the part where we have to talk about some tough realities because we talked about the left and Bernie Sanders does this. The problem is this poisonous, and I'm seeing a lot of it right now, this poisonous and self-defeating ideology. It really is self-defeating, by the way. Anyone who believes this has a miserable, miserable life. You've never met a virtuous, happy, wealthy person, and granted, there's not many of those in general, but you've never met one of those who believes that everyone who's richer than them is just evil. People who take accountability over their lives tend to do pretty well. That's what I'm saying. But this poisonous and self-defeating ideology has also made its way into the right. That's the hard reality that we have to talk about as well. You have Republicans, and I'm not talking about Republican leadership, by the way. Republican leadership will always have its flaws, and I'll always call it out. But when you've got Republican, like, normies, just people out there saying this stuff, it's a big problem. You have Republicans telling you that it's a good thing if you can't afford things because of the tariffs. Like, that's a virtue. You saw that people were talking about how, oh, you might not be able to afford as many dolls for your kids. That's not a good thing. Scarcity is not a good thing. Or I've seen it a lot on the right where they're saying boomers are evil because they're hoarding their wealth, as if boomers have some responsibility to give you their wealth. Did they have it easier? Maybe. But does that suddenly make them evil? No, that's total lib ideology. It's Marxist. It's total crap. And it will sink the Republican Party like it's going to sink the Democrat Party. And unfortunately for Republicans, it's actually not. The Republican Party is much more populist in reality. And the reason why I say that is those ideas that I just described, like I said, are not coming from the Republican Party leadership. They're coming from the Republican random people. And that's a problem in of itself because it's a defeating ideology. However, Democrats have it even worse because not only is it coming from just kind of general Democrats, but it's also coming from the Democrat elite, and that's completely hypocritical, and people will see through it. It's only a matter of time. You can only play that game for so long before people see Bernie Sanders for the fraud he is. Again, if anyone comes to you, whether it's on the left or the right, and they say that it's a good thing if you have less, or a good thing if you try to steal from someone more than you, or it's a good thing that CEOs are being murdered, or it's a good thing that someone with more money than you is going to have their money stolen from them by the government in form of taxation, if people are saying that to you, they're not conservative and they're total Marxist. Ultimately, guys, if Bernie Sanders really had any principles, he would fly commercial. I think that's pretty clear. Like, to say if the environment, it's a big deal. People really believe that the environment needs to be saved. You fly commercial. You don't fly private. I'm not one of those people that believes you can't fly private. I think if you have the money, you should be able to do it. But Bernie Sanders clearly thinks, or really doesn't think, but says that flying private is going to destroy the environment. He could just fly commercial, and he could then donate 90% of his money to the government like he preaches. He doesn't do that because he doesn't want to part with his luxuries and his money. He just wants you to. Hey guys, I'm excited to announce that I'm rolling out my new Substack. If you didn't know, Substack is essentially a newsletter that arrives in your email where I can share daily news, my opinions on it, and commentary, and it's completely free to you guys, and you can cancel anytime. In addition to the news and commentary stuff, I'll also be posting some inner workings of the show so you can see kind of the behind the scenes stuff, as well as in there's direct chatting with me so we can bounce political ideas off each other. It's one of my favorite things of this job, and Substack just makes it a little bit easier. Go check it out right now. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video, everybody. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps other patriots like yourself see it, and you can also check out another video right here.